Yo, it's Brian here. Today, talking about the San Francisco 49ers. In this one, doing my position edge video for this team against the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Are you guys excited for this one? It's going to be a fun one, I think. 49ers, they're looking to go 3-1. The Eagles are looking to try to get their first win of the season, which is really bizarre because when they come into the season, they had expectations to do really well, but unfortunately, things didn't really pan out. They lost to the Washington team by coming back. They lost to the Rams. They got blown out by them. The Bengals, they tied for whatever reason. I don't know how they do that, but you can still do that in today's NFL. Anyways, these two teams, they're trying to prove something. Hopefully, the 49ers, they do get some players back. The Eagles, they're a little bit beat up. Wentz isn't playing his best football like he was a couple of years ago from that Super Bowl year. But, hey, it is what it is. Not everything's supposed to be great forever. I'll be talking about that in a second. Before I get the video started, as always, please like and subscribe. That's going to definitely help me out a lot. Click that bell notification to get notified of future videos. Share the channel, share this content with fellow Niner faithfuls. Let's get this started. 49ers versus Eagles. Who has the edge position for position? Okay, quarterback position. First up, let's talk about them. 49ers quarterback versus Carson Wentz. Who am I going to give the initial edge to? I said 49ers quarterback because I don't know which one's going to be starting. Is it going to be Jimmy G or Nick Mullens? But to this one, that's not really make a big difference in this particular video. The Eagles are pretty beat up for the most part. Carson Wentz, he's been just beat up for the most part as well. He's been turning the ball over a lot like Daniel Jones last week. It's just been really ugly for him this year. I don't know what's going on. It is what it is. Maybe a mix of offensive line, just him not playing well, but whatever. We'll find out. If I had to get the initial edge, I'm going to give it to the 49ers quarterback, whether it's Jimmy G or Nick Mullens. Jimmy, I think he's the more talented quarterback, but Nick, he's very decisive and very calm and very chill in the pocket, as we saw in the game against the Giants. And usually, like, his whole time he's been with San Francisco. For that, I'm giving them the edge. Wentz, he just can't stay healthy. He's just been beat up a lot, and the turnovers, man, they just kill their momentum, definitely. So I'm giving the edge to San Francisco. If this was Carson Wentz from the Super Bowl year, yes, definitely Carson, but not this year in particular. Running back position, 49ers versus Eagles. Who am I giving the initial edge to? This one, I have to give it to the 49ers almost hands down to me. We have the best running back crew, I believe, in the NFL. Bobby Turner, Kyle Shanahan, they can literally get any running back, especially from off the street, and they can play really well for this team. You look at the game this past week against the Giants, Jared McKinnon, Jeff Wilson Jr., and Jamichael Hasty, he finally got his opportunity from the practice squad. They all played really well. Anybody could just go in. Raheem Mostert, Tevin Coleman, they might be out for a bit, so just being able to rotate guys, almost no problem. It's just awesome right there. I mean, if you talk about Miles Sanders, he might be the better running back, but you talk about system, nobody can be our system, and that's how the 49ers beat most teams. It's just by the running game. If not, then they're going to have to use Jimmy G or Mullens' hands, but I'm not really too worried about that because I think they're both talented. But yeah, looking at the running backs, I have to give it to San Francisco almost hands down because their system is just awesome. Next up, the wide receiver position, 49ers versus Eagles. Who am I going to give the initial edge to? If I had to give the edge for this one, it's going to be a little bit difficult. The 49ers, they had a great game against the Giants, but it's the Giants. They were not the best team to be looking forward to. The wide receivers for the Eagles, I mean, I think they have some injury issues, but the really top guy that they had so far was Greg Ward, and that's pretty much it. I mean, Deshaun and Alshon Jeffrey, a little bit iffy, but if I had to give the initial edge, I'm going to give it to San Francisco, actually. I don't give a lot of edges to the 49ers in the wide receiver position because I believe that's the weakest spot for this team in particular, but looking at it, I think they're showing a lot more progress for the past couple of weeks now. Kendrick Bourne company, they're getting a lot better. I was very worried after the game against Arizona in week 1, but they're just showing up, showing out. Brandon Ayuk, he's been a pleasant, great player for us as a rookie. Deebo Samuel, I don't think he's going to be making his return this week. I've seen reports that he will still be out, and they'll use him back for the next game against the Miami Dolphins, but for this one in particular, I don't think they need him yet. But having Ayuk, other guys like Bourne, Trent Taylor, they're making a lot of plays, and that's what I like about the most. But Brandon Ayuk, he's pretty much the reason why I'm picking the edge for the 49ers because he's a really dynamic player. Yards at the catch, that guy's crazy. Tight end position, Zach Ertz for the Eagles versus our tight ends. I think George Kittle, I don't know if he's available for this game. A lot of injury stuff that I don't know what's happening, but hopefully we find out by this week. It's going to be Ross Dwelly and kind of Jordan Reed if he's still available. But this one in particular, I'm actually going to give it to Zach Ertz. I mean, Kittle, I don't know if he's going to be completely healthy. I mean, if this was a 100% Super Saiyan George Kittle, then yes, I would give it hands down. But Ertz, he's a top tight end as well. He's up there with Travis Kelce and Kittle himself. But in this particular game, I'm going to just give the initial edge to Ertz. But the guys that we have right now, I'm not too worried about as well. But I'm going to give it to Ertz in this particular case because Kittle, I don't know if he's going to be 100%. Even if he does play, I don't know yet. And last up, offensive line, 49ers versus Eagles. Who am I going to give the initial edge to? This one usually would go to the Eagles. They have a usually great offensive line, but this year in particular, they just had some weird penalties. They've just been really off sync this year. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know if it's just some Super Bowl hangover 2.0 from a couple of years ago. I don't even think that's even a possible thing. The 49ers offensive line, they're getting better and better and better. They did struggle against the Arizona Cardinals week 1, but they're getting better and better. They've been able to protect Mullens and Jimmy a little bit more often now. So if I had to give the initial edge, I'm going to give it to the 49ers. Having Ben Garland back as center, that is a big thing for them. They've been able to stabilize that line, and having Trent Williams, that guy's a bulldozer. You just can't stop this guy at all. But yeah, San Francisco, most of the edges to them on offense, that's really surprising considering the fact I thought Philadelphia early on was going to have all the edges preseason, like before week 1, but so far they've been really struggling, unfortunately. Right now, it's 49ers, they have a lot of momentum, and I'm going to be rolling with it. 49ers get the edge for the most part on offense minus tight ends. Next up, let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. 49ers defensive line versus Eagles defensive line. Who am I going to get the initial edge to? This was actually a tough one. This was probably the most tough one to decide out of any of the positions for this particular game. The 49ers, they're getting better and better and better considering that Nick Bosa is not with us anymore. Unfortunately, also Solomon Thomas is out. But other guys have been stepping up. You have Kerry Hyder. He's been a great blessing for us so far this year. Also, Deion Jordan. He had a great game against the Giants. Yes, it's the Giants, but still, to have that confidence come back, to being a draft bust so far in his NFL career, to hopefully being the great piece for us in San Francisco. I think that's great right there. Eric Armstead, we know what he stands for. Javon Kinlaw, he's been a pleasant surprise in terms of being able to pick the game up pretty quickly. A lot of people thought he was going to struggle just a little bit early on, but so far he's been able to pick up the load, and he's done a great job for us. Rookie from South Carolina. Defensive line for the Eagles, they have Fletcher Cox, Blake Jackson. They have great guys on this line, so this was a pretty tough one to really predict in my opinion. If I had to give the initial edge, who am I going to give it to? You know what? In this one, I think just for a little bit more experience, I might give it to the Eagles just a slight bit, but that's just a slight bit. I know some people are like, oh, why don't you give it hands down to the Eagles? But I just believe the 49ers, I think they're getting better, but I need to see more from them. They have one good game so far against the terrible Giants offensive line, but the Eagles offensive line isn't great either, but still, I want to see more from them, so I might give the initial edge to the Eagles just a slight bit, and that's what I'm going to be going with right now, but I can't go wrong with the 49ers defensive line as well so far. Linebacker position, if I had to get the initial edge between the 49ers and Eagles, I'm going to give it to the 49ers because Fred Warner, he's been shown to be one of the top middle linebackers in the NFL, been getting better every game since he got drafted a couple of years ago. Last year, he had a really great year, and then this year, he's building upon that great year, making it even better. Quan Alexander is a little bit questionable so far. He's been missing some tackles, which is unfortunate, but I do love me some Quan. I think that was a big concern anyways coming out of Tampa when we did sign him to a big contract. But so far, he has been struggling a little bit. Dre Greenlaw's been out for a bit, so Al Jazeer, he's been great for us. I think he did that big fourth down stop for us. But San Francisco's defensive line, they're really good. I can't go wrong with them. Linebackers, no doubt at all, San Francisco. Last up, let's talk about the defensive backs, 49ers versus Eagles. Who am I going to get the initial edge to for this one? A little bit not difficult, but I don't know what you want to call it. But the 49ers, I know I talk up about them if you're an Eagles fan, but yeah, they're really good. They're 2-1. They could be 3-0 if they didn't choke against the Cardinals. But looking at it, I'm going to give it to the 49ers, actually. Assuming that Jason Verrett plays really well, like he did against the Giants. Dante Johnson doing a great job for us as well last week. Those two were pleasant surprises. I was so happy for Verrett when he played well against the Giants. They're going to be building upon that. You also have Jaquiski Tartt and Jimmy Ward. Those two guys are great safeties. They are very smart players. So you can't go wrong without them. But at the same time, the Eagles, they have some nice talent, but at the same time, I do like my defensive backs a little bit more. I feel a little bit more confident than I did a couple of weeks ago, definitely. But initial edge, San Francisco, a little bit controversial, but I'm going to be going with them for this one. Special teams, got to give it to the 49ers because Robbie Gould, he's just a beast. Mitch Wishnowsky, he's a great punter. He didn't even punt last week. He had a break like Thomas Morstead for the Saints last year. But Kyle Nelson, that is a little bit concerned in terms of the long snapper. We never talk about the long snapper. I never talk about him, but seeing him struggle a bit, that was not good at all. And Justin School had to take over for the last couple of snaps for extra points and what have you. He did a great job, but Nelson, that is a little bit concerning considering the fact that he usually plays well. We usually don't talk about him, but we had to talk about him last week against the Giants. So, yep, that's pretty much it, you guys. That's the edges for each position. Head coaching, Kyle Shanahan versus Peterson. If you want to talk about experience, I guess Doug Peterson. But if you want to talk about innovation, Kyle Shanahan. But that one, I usually keep it as a tie. That's fine with me. But the players, I usually try to give an edge no matter what. No ties or anything like that. I'm not really a big fan of that. But yeah, 49ers versus Eagles should be an interesting one. 49ers are trying to keep their winning streak going. The Eagles are trying to get something going, but I believe the 49ers, they can do a great job in this matchup, and I'm ready for this game, definitely. Please let me know what you guys think about my picks. Do I sound off as a crazy guy? Do I sound accurate? Please let me know in the comments below. If you guys like this, please like and subscribe. That's going to help me out a lot. I'll be catching you guys up tomorrow on Tuesday when I do my predictions. I'll see y'all then. Bye, guys. Love y'all. Y'all have a great rest of your night. Go Niners all day.